Hey, what's up, guys? Today we're going to talk about real estate headlines. It's going to be a fun episode. You're going to want to stay tuned. I will see you on the inside. Hey, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, no matter what time it is. Hope that you guys are having an amazing day. I'm here with my awesome host, Josh Zuniga.
Let's go, baby.
Put some applause in there for him. Today we're going to we're doing something a little different today.
We are. We're talking about those headlines. You got some papers in front of you. I see that.
Yes, this is going to be fun.
All right.
Because I like busting on the media, and it's like really fun. So
I get tired of media, but yeah, let's make it happen.
Yeah, media sucks.
Yeah, let's go.
In this country, at least. All right, let's talk about this. Okay, so this is from foxbusinessnews.com or foxbusiness.com. Soaring mortgage rates discourage home buying even as rental costs jump. The monthly starter home ownership in Austin, Texas was 97.8% higher than the median rental price. This was published on July 21st. What's your initial thought? Yeah, a couple days ago. Not that long
There's
ago.
probably some truth to that. Yeah, absolutely. But I know what the market is. I'm curious to see what that next article says.
Oh, should we just spoil it right now?
Yeah, just go for it, man. So this is
the
what
next article.
Yeah, there's very bipolar
says,
here.
And this is same website, Fox Business, and this is published July 8th. In the personal finance section, it says mortgage rates plummet among recession fears. Home buyers may soon be well positioned to make a purchase. So which is it?
What are the rates at today?
That's enough to drive you freaking nuts. By
Dude,
the way,
like
if you're, and by the way, okay, so let me put a little clause in here. These two articles were both on the front page of the Fox Business News section.
Yeah.
Okay, so it wasn't like I dug around for these. They're literally two completely different headlines. Okay. And so, guys, when we talk about media and how biased it is, this is exactly what I'm talking about, okay? The people that write these articles aren't necessarily experts in the industry. And I hate to say it, but I'm not going to call anybody out, but the two people, Daniela Genovese and Kelsey Ramirez, this is a sponsored post, okay? It says right in here, sponsored by Credible, which is majority owned by our parent company, Fox Corporation, is solely responsible for its services. Do you see the problem here?
It's a big issue.
There's issues here.
What are they changing?
Well, they change the narrative based on what they want.
Narrative, you change the narrative, you change your perception.
Okay, so how does media get paid? By clicks.
Yep.
Okay, they literally, as many clicks as they can get, they can show ads.
Yeah.
And so they do clickbait like this shit, right? Mortgage rates plummet among recession fears. Very next article, soaring mortgage rates. It's very hard for you guys to decipher. Number one, you should be liking and subscribing to this podcast because we actually give you the real shit. We don't kind of sugarcoat it, right? And so I might swear a lot. I know Justin bleeped that out, I guess. But look, we talked to Mike Burke from JFQ, and this is, I'm not quoting rates. Don't get me into an APR discussion here. A par rate, which is basically where the mortgage lender does not have to pay the mortgage bank to take off that loan, and the lender, or the borrower, doesn't have to pay to get that mortgage, is at par, okay? That rate is hovering around, we'll make it ambiguous, call it 5.375% today.
Nice. That's a great rate.
That's a great rate.
That's really good for what we've actually been seeing for the past 30 days.
I went on Google and I typed in mortgage rates today, Arizona, and it says 6.71% is the average rate on a 30-year fixed.
Wow.
But then I go into like Lending Tree or another, like one of those other websites, and there's quotes all over the place, right? And so guys, like when you're looking for a mortgage, please shop around, okay? Really important to get, number one, good information from Carl and Josh. But number two, find a good lender that's going to really hook you up and is very transparent about fees and stuff like that.
I'm glad you said that. Obviously we're partnered with JFQ Lending. Guys, you need to talk to a professional before you start believing what these headlines say. Everybody's situation is going to be different because if you see, oh my God, interest rates are at 6%, but you actually know you can get into a 5.35, then that changes the complete situation for you and your finances and when you actually can afford.
Yeah, 1.5% is a big deal when it comes to like a $500,000 loan.
Yeah, when it comes to your purchase power and how much you can actually afford on a mortgage, that's a huge difference. No wonder so many buyers, fell out of the market and are so scared and just so scrambled because look at the cross reference between everything. Yeah, it's completely bipolar on that.
This is crazy, right? Like they're talking about recession fears, mortgage rates plummet, and then literally the next article says soaring mortgage rates. Can't figure it out.
Yeah. And guys, this just comes back to putting fear into the media, not even just with mortgage rates, across, all platforms and all topics and all titles that we have to go through. Yeah. this is just one case, but you don't really know the facts until you talk to somebody that's, in the thick of it.
Actually in the business. Yeah. Cool. Moving on. We'll do this quick. We'll do like a quick hitter. Colorado, Utah, Idaho metros had biggest share of sellers dropping home prices in June. Boise had the most sellers drop their asking prices. Denver and Salt Lake City were next as fears of inflation and recession rise.
Oof.
Fox Business News published July 23rd by Daniela Genovese. Okay,
that's a good title, huh? Oh, they're the same thing, fear mongering on there, right? So if people want, if the media is trying to slow down the market and slow down people from actually spending, they're doing a great job at it, right?
Oh, yeah.
They're doing a wonderful job at it. And
perception creates reality.
Exactly. Perception creates reality, but then when you change the perception, you change behavior. When you change the behavior, you dictate the actions that the individual is going to take.
Nailed it.
It's a huge psychology game, right?
Nailed it.
And they're doing it, and they're doing a damn good job. Unfortunately, a lot of the general public doesn't have, I'd say, the encouragement to go and find the truth.
Yeah.
Okay. And
it's
you guys...
buried.
Yeah, because it is buried behind all of these headlines, and you see it across social media. You see it even across YouTube. Everybody's just talking about the hot topics, for clickbait, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But you need to get in front of somebody that's going to give you your facts, especially if this is a situation where you have to move or you have to buy. You need to start talking to the right people. Don't believe what these headlines are saying.
Okay, but I'm going to kind of give it a little bit of credit on this one, even though it was the same author as the last one here. A recent report by Redfin indicated over 25% of home sellers and 3/4 of metros tracked by the brokerage nationwide dropped their asking prices in June. My thought on that is because they were overcooked to begin with. And so here's, guys, I'm a real estate agent, okay? There are tendencies as real estate agents when going on a listing appointment to artificially inflate the listing price in order to win that contract, in order to win that listing contract.
Happens a lot. Yeah, absolutely.
This happens a lot. This is something I've tried to fundamentally change, and I've had conversations with really high ups in NAR discussing this exact problem. Okay, if you are a realtor and it's trademarked, don't freaking sue me. If you are a realtor, you have to abide by the Realtor Code of Ethics. Okay, in there is an article that describes this exact problem. The problem is that as a real estate agent, you go into a listing presentation. Josh says he can sell that house for $500. I walk in right after and I said, oh, he says he can do it for $500. I can do it for $550. Who's going to get that listing? The guy that says it's going to be $550. Mm-hmm. Here's what happened. And we operate in Colorado as well. Okay. And so in Colorado specifically, we have seen people just asking ridiculous prices with not looking at the comparable sales. Okay. Yeah. So if you looked at the comparable sales, they're vastly different. The closed transactions versus the active. There's a big disconnect there. And what I'm trying to tell you right now is the drop in home prices that you're seeing was they're coming back down to where the comparables have sold, where they should have been to begin with. Okay. This is specific to this industry. This does not usually happen in other industries. They don't artificially inflate prices to win business. Okay. So understand that if you're a home seller and you got two agents and one's telling you one price, another one's telling you a completely different price, get a third opinion.
Well,
comment
to that. So, anybody that started listing their house in May that's still on the market, I think there was still a lot of hype within Maricopa County here specifically that, we still wanted to shoot for the stars because some of them were actually closing. But when the market shifted and all the buyers pulled back, when they increased interest rates, now you're seeing these closings happen, drastically lower than what we originally thought we could actually do it.
Yep.
Right. So that's a big thing too. And what do you have to do if you're one of those sellers and if you're one of those agents? You have to adjust accordingly.
Got to be competitive.
Exactly.
Yeah. Good comment. Home prices are still going strong, but there are signs of slowing. This is CNN by Anna Bonnet. I'm going to hack your name. I'm so sorry. Bahney. This is updated July 26th, Tuesday, July 26th. It says U.S. home prices were up nearly 20% in May compared to the year before, but there were signs the market began to cool as rising mortgage rates pushed more prospective buyers to the sidelines. So what are your thoughts on the what's driving the market right now?
Well, I believe that, because the days on market right now are definitely being extended.
Yes.
I think we saw a stat that now the average is like 35 days, when compared to last year. So that's a significant increase. I remember before 2020, the average days on market, I think was like 64 days.
65 days, yeah.
Yeah, 65 days. So that's normal.
That's normal.
That's normal. So as sellers, I don't want you guys to freak out because, oh my God, my house didn't sell in hours or in days, because that's exactly where we're heading. The only reason why people are, getting very, I want to say maybe upset or discouraged about it is because it's happening so quick. It
Yep.
wasn't a gradual thing where it took, 6 months for that ship to really turn. It happened in days and weeks.
Yes. Okay, so I'm going to do some conversation starters here. Okay, so these are comments based on some of the articles that we just read.
Uh-huh.
And I'm just going to read you the comment. Okay, and I want to get your opinion on it.
Go for it.
With soaring inflation, stagnant wages, recession, soaring interest rates, and overpriced housing, we are ripe for another housing price equity meltdown. Dark times ahead.
That's too much. Dark times, I don't believe so.
Yeah.
Price cuts, yes, that's definitely going to happen, but it's not going to be coming in mass like we saw in 08. So guys, I don't want you guys to freak out or anything like that. If something flips a switch and there's this black swan event where that, really happens, which is possible, right? Which is possible. And we have these elections coming up. They're going to need to break something in order to fix it, in order to win, those votes. I think that's something that may happen, right?
Yep.
So I don't believe, too much of what that is now, but things may change. Obviously, we're talking October or maybe even, later this year and the beginning of next year, just like with COVID, something like that drastically changed the market. We had no control over it. It came in, blindsided everybody, and things were affected. Markets were changed.
Yes. Anyone thinking about buying now would be very likely be making the biggest mistake of their lives. The housing market is beginning a correction and is going to be a hard correction.
No.
Okay. Okay, I'm just going to put I don't want to get political. And very shortly, the next real estate bubble will burst. Democrats are loving it. Maybe Joe will sign a real estate executive order.
Oh, man.
I don't know. Let's just skip over that one.
Yeah, we want to talk about Joe.
Glad we bought our home 3 years ago. It would cost $200K more if we bought it today in my red state here in the South. Okay, so let me say, there's definitely a migration pattern in the United States that people need to be aware of. If you're a savvy investor, you're probably shorting the market in the Northeast and Midwest, and probably even Northwest at this point, any of the blue states, and you're probably moving to a red state. I'm just saying, that's probably where a lot of the growth is going to happen. We've seen it in Texas. We've seen it in Florida. We've seen it absolutely in Arizona.
Sunbelt.
Okay, it says inventory as in there isn't any is the one, and this is July 21st, by the way. So what we talked about before was perception of the public. Okay, and it's very important that these are just public comments, so they're not educated writers or authors or anything like that. There's nobody it's just a comment on the internet. Inventory as in there isn't any is the one thing that will keep prices high, despite the Fed doing it all they can to ruin our home values too. It's supply and demand, and as long as supply remains low, which it will, demand will continue. Renting will always mean throwing money down the toilet. This is 2 eyes and a brain is the handle on that one. Just throwing that out there.
Oh, nice.
Yep. What's your thought on that one?
Well, I think especially for a buyer, they're in a little bit of a sticky situation. Last year they couldn't get a house because they were outbid. This year they can't afford a house because of the interest rates, right? So there's definitely some things that they have to consider. Do I recommend always getting in real estate? Yes. You want to buy real estate and then wait. Don't wait to get into real estate, because no matter what, on a 3-year cycle, yes, you may see some downturns in real estate, but every 10-year cycle of real estate, you will always see an increase in your equity and appreciation, for that property. So I always believe every person that we come in contact with, I was like, we don't show them how to buy one house. We show them how to buy several houses. The day they buy their first house is the day they become an investor. Mm-hmm. And that is our duty and obligation to show them, how to actually create those opportunities and start establishing wealth for themselves and maybe the family that they have or are looking to have within the future. It's necessary, guys. People have been doing it for generations, okay? Generations, a lot of wealth has been put into the real estate market. Follow the trends. Follow where wealth goes. Follow the cycle of money. Take your own self-education into account and start learning and be in contact with people that actually know what the F you're talking about.
Thank you for saying that. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Next one from Gary. Okay. When the average price of a home, even in less expensive markets, is over $300,000, it won't matter what the interest rates are, as investors are priced out. There will be less rentals and rents will increase. No one's going to buy a house and rent it to have it rent for less than they are paying on the mortgage. Thoughts?
Agree and also disagree. Okay. So, and I, one of the guys that I follow as far as education, he's like, he made up a good point. He's like, guys, even if you're losing $100 on this property, in 5 years, you may be up $400 because rents are going to be increasing.
Yeah.
Okay?
Rents don't go down, guys. They just don't go down. Okay. So like we saw a little bit of that in 2008, 2009, 2010, but the price of homes dropped like 60%, right? So something crazy. Yeah. Rents are going to go down. But in this market, I don't see rents going down. Matter of fact, I see them going up a little bit as there's pressure to rent. And guys, there's population growth and we haven't had enough housing units to keep up with that population growth, there's still a constriction in supply and there's an increase in demand. And so understand that.
Yeah, I even saw an article the other day, I think, or maybe this morning. Doug Ducey says that we're shy 270,000 homes.
Ooh.
Like that's a huge increase.
That's in Arizona?
Yeah. If we need to, we're still rated number 2 as far as inbound migration behind Florida, right? We're expected to see, I think, 700,000 jobs added to the market by 2030.
Wow.
That is nuts. That is
crazy.
insane, right?
Yeah.
200,000 of those tech jobs are actually going to be going to Buckeye within the next 2 to 3 years. Buckeye is just going to blow up, we know, because the land is so affordable, and we know some developers that are getting land at an amazing price because they are starving for housing.
Mm-hmm.
So, guys, I think the Arizona market has, even though we have one of the highest increases in inventory, I think we're still pretty insulated from, you know, some of the market changes because demand is so high here within Arizona.
Yeah,
people
guys,
are just coming here.
Very localized, right? So we want to make sure that people outside of Arizona understand that. This is from Bugaboo. 5.3% is still a pretty low mortgage rate for anybody who is over 25. Comments?
What the heck is Bugaboo? Never heard of that. That's a funny name. It depends, man. It's all situational. It literally is all situational. But an individual at 25 years old, I guarantee he's not going to be able to afford a $500,000 house. You're coming fresh out of college, right? You may have some student loan debt attached with you. You may even got a job at 60, 65, let's call it 75. You're doing pretty good, you know, at 25. And for you to have car payment, insurance, you know, and all the things, you got to pay for groceries, you got to pay for gas, and you got to stack on, you know, a mortgage payment on top of that, you're going to be like, I don't know about that one, plus your down payment now. So
I agreed. I think what they were kind of getting at is that, you know, if you're over the age of 25, you're used to interest rates that are well above 0.3%. I would agree.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit older than I think people watching this. And so I'm used to interest rates that are in the 8s, you know, and I remember interest rates being in the, you know, high teens for mortgage rates. Did we still sell houses? Yeah, we sure did. So, all right, let's wrap that thing up. Do it.
Guys, thank you so much for tuning into the Inside View Real Estate Podcast. This has been a fun episode for headlines, but we'll see you on the inside on the next episode. What's up, guys? Thank you so much for tuning in to the Inside View Real Estate Podcast. Make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe. We want to continue to bring you so much value every single episode. Until next time, we'll see you on the inside.